No one in the grand ballroom knew her name. She stood there, small, quiet, wearing torn jeans and a gray sweater smudged with dirt, staring at a piano worth more than everything she had ever owned. The guests whispered. Some laughed under their breath. And one man, a billionaire known for his sharp tongue, leaned forward and smirked. You can't play the piano. Don't embarrass yourself. But what happened next didn't just silence the room, it changed every heart inside it forever. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to Kindness Action, hit the like button, and tell us in the comments what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world that compassion still matters. The night had been planned to perfection. Crystal chandeliers glowed like captured stars. Guests in sparkling gowns and tailored tuxedos held champagne glasses and exchanged polished smiles. The occasion was a charity gala, though most of the people there were more interested in being seen than in helping anyone. At the center of the room sat a Steinway & Sons grand piano, polished so perfectly it reflected the chandeliers like a mirror. It had been rented for the evening for an outrageous price. Only the finest performers usually touched its keys, but that night, something unexpected happened. As the host finished his opening remarks, the massive double doors to the ballroom slowly creaked open. A little girl stepped inside. Her hair, a messy ponytail tied with what looked like an old shoelace, fell over her shoulders. Her clothes were worn, and her small hands looked cold, wrapped tightly around each other as if to hide. Conversations stopped. Everyone stared. She didn't belong there, and that was obvious. A waiter, startled, rushed over to her. "Sweetheart, I think you're lost," he whispered gently, but the girl shook her head. "No. I came to hear the piano," she said softly. Before the waiter could guide her out, the billionaire hosting the event, Gregory Lawson, overheard her. Gregory was a man known for power, influence, and a sense of humor that tended to punch down rather than lift up. He chuckled loudly, drawing attention. "The piano? Do you even know what a Steinway is, kid?" The girl didn't respond. She simply looked at the glossy black piano with a mixture of fear and longing. Another guest, dressed in diamonds and glitter, said, "Oh, let her look for a second. Then we can continue." Gregory waved a hand dramatically. "Better yet," he said in a voice dripping with sarcasm, "why don't you play something for us?" A few guests laughed. A few cringed. But the girl didn't move. Gregory went on, "What cat got your tongue? Or maybe you just can't play." The words hung in the air, sharp and humiliating, and then, to everyone's surprise, the little girl stepped forward. Her shoes made soft taps on the marble floor as she walked toward the piano. She didn't look at Gregory. She didn't look at the audience. She looked only at the piano, as if seeing a long-lost friend. Someone whispered, "This is going to be awkward." Another murmured, "Poor thing." But then she sat on the bench and the room fell silent. She placed her fingers on the keys, carefully, lovingly, and the moment she touched them, everything changed. Her hands moved. Softly at first. Then faster. Then with a confidence that didn't match her worn clothes or timid posture, a melody rose into the air, rich, full, heartbreaking. It wasn't a simple tune, it was something deep, something that carried pain, hope, and beauty all at once. Her fingers danced across the keys with a mastery that defied her age. Every eye widened. Every guest leaned forward. Even Gregory Lawson, who had been smirking only seconds before, stood frozen. The girl played with a passion that came from somewhere far beyond technique. Her emotions flowed into every note, years of struggle, nights spent dreaming, moments when music was the only comfort she had. By the time she reached the final chord, tears filled the eyes of guests who had arrived that evening feeling untouchable and important. Now, they felt humbled when the last note faded. The room was so quiet you could hear the soft hum of the chandelier lights. Then came the applause, loud, thunderous, overwhelming. The little girl looked up, startled. She wasn't used to applause. She wasn't used to being seen. Gregory Lawson stepped forward, face flushed. "Where did you learn to play like that?" he asked, his voice gentler than before. The girl shrugged. "My mom taught me." Before she got sick. A few gasps rippled through the crowd. Gregory lowered himself so he was eye level with her. "What's your name?" "Lily," she said quietly. He nodded, swallowing hard. Lily. I owe you an apology. The guests watched as the billionaire, who had spent years intimidating others with his wealth, found himself humbled by a little girl with music in her soul. But Gregory didn't stop there. He stood, turned to the crowd, and said, "Tonight was supposed to be about charity. But this girl reminded me what giving truly means. She reminded me of humility and kindness." He placed a hand gently on Lily's shoulder. "I'm going to sponsor her music education. Every lesson. Every instrument. Everything she needs." Lily's eyes widened. Really, he said, smiling warmly. "And that's just the beginning." The room erupted into applause again. But this time, it wasn't for a performance. It was for kindness. For transformation. For a moment that showed them all what truly mattered. Lily's life changed that night, but so did Gregory's. And so did the hearts of everyone who witnessed the power of compassion and talent coming from the most unexpected place. Sometimes the people we overlook carry the brightest light inside them. Sometimes the smallest voices hold the greatest stories. And sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness to turn a single moment into a lifetime of possibility. If Lily's story touched your heart, let it be a reminder: be kind, be patient, and never underestimate the power inside someone, no matter where they come from. Thank you for watching, and remember to spread kindness every chance you get.